on, what is the government saying, what is the state government saying, what is the federal government saying on that. All these issues I will be discussing during the this broadcast. But for those of you that are joining us, please go on Star Radio UK and make sure you follow us so that you can be able to catch up with me every Monday to Friday at exactly 11 o'clock, where we discuss everything that pertains to Nigeria and also the self-determination and those that still believe in one Nigeria.
Interesting. Listeners, Mr. Online for again on North London Studios. I'm Archie here in the South Studios. But now let's go to the detail of that story that we were talking about, the massacre that took place. Now, so it's not a place that is in the north. That's what I wanted us to establish, so that we can say that maybe this time it was the ISIS or ISWAP, whichever they call them, or the insurgents in that particular area. So what has the state government said, and what has the federal government reported about this whole event that took place yesterday?
Well, when the event started, I actually got a message, from the state. Those that were following us, that knows what we do from the media perspective, send us a message. And yes, I didn't want to believe it, but again, when incident like this does happen, it means that especially when it has now generated a lot of conversation on the social media. I'll be telling you a bit of what the government have said and the response from different parts of the country, and also some of the presidential contestants have already been spoken. But let's first something that was a bit of confusion is that people were saying that it was a bomb blast. But from what I've been able to look at yesterday, it seems that it was not a bomb blast, or it could be a bomb blast, but also there was a coordination of some kind of heavy machinery that was used. But let's first state what the Ondo State government, I'm trying to pick that up, the state government says actually himself, and that would then give us, what we believe has actually happened. It is a terrorist attack. There's no doubt about that. We can no longer say terrorist attack does occur alone in the northeast or the north side of the country, but we now also know that there's a heavy terrorist involvement again in the southwest. Let's first go into what the response of the governor. The governor was actually not in the state, but he flew back into the state because he was not too far away. He was only in Abuja. Remember, the APC convention is still lingering, and there's a lot of conversation. We're going to come back on that as well. But this was the response of the governor after he actually returned back. And this is what he said. I just arrived. This is about 18 hours ago. I just arrived into Owo from Abuja following the unfortunate attack on the people worshiping at the St. Francis Catholic Church in Owo. I have received the brief from the head of security agency in the state. The assailant will be hunted down and they will pay for their crimes. We've had a lot of these. They will pay for their crimes is something that a lot of them have always said continuously, but that's if you know where these individuals are or how you can be able to track them. Remember that up to date, those that were kidnapped from the bomb train attack that was going from Abuja to Kaduna, as we speak right now, they are still in the hands of their captives. So that means that the government have not been able to deal with that. How they're going to be able to deal with these individuals is something that I'm not really sure of. Let's now go and see what the federal government is saying from the perspective of what has actually happened yesterday. Once again, this is Star Radio UK, your finest African and Caribbean radio station. President Muhammadu Buhari mourns the dead, condoles with Ondo State government and the people. President Muhammadu Buhari has condemned the enormous killings of worshippers Sunday at the St. Francis Catholic Church, where the incident occurred. Also, President Muhammadu Buhari says that only friends, I believe they want to say friends there because it's spelled FIENDS, from the NIDA region could have conceived and carry out such disaster act. I want you to hold on to that. So what the government from the federal perspective is saying that this is not something that was done by locals. It is done by people from, again, outside Nigeria. And that's also something that we got to be concerned about. If we have people that are not in Nigeria or they are non-Nigerians and they've already infiltrated every part of Nigeria today, that means we got to be very, very concerned. Also, President Muhammadu Buhari mourns the dead, condoles with the families, the Catholic Church, the government of Ondo State, charging the emergency agency to swing into action and bring the skull to the wounded. No matter what, this country shall never give in to evil and wicked people, and darkness will never come to light. But you would expect that whatever engagement that the government should be having might probably be suspended for the total death of over 200 people that were killed, but they went ahead with a dinner yesterday in Abuja. This is Star Radio UK, 18 minutes past the hour, 6 of 6, 2022. Dark day, as is now known in Ondo State. I will slightly come back again to you now in the studio.
Well, listeners, updates from Nigeria with Mr. Olami Koiki. Very, very sad day yesterday, and with numbers going up after now. We're talking about almost 200 people who have lost their lives. We have more stories that is going to be coming your way. But Olami Koiki was trying to give us the statements that the governor of the state, the Ondo State, has made, and what the federal government is also saying. But normally, what we hear is when there are attacks of the soul, we have the group that undertook whatever attacks coming out to say that, look, we were the ones responsible for that. Has any group come out to claim responsibility?
After studying, the whole attack yesterday, which is again is not new, as we've known, I can say that there have not been any of these, either the ISIS. We know ISIS have said they're responsible for at least two of the latest attacks, one in Kogi State, one in Bauchi State, and the ones that I've done previously. But again, looking at the headlines and following the situation up to this early hours of this morning, where it's been a very, very long night. Everybody has pinned it as a terrorist attack. There's no doubt about that. But so far, nobody has claimed the responsibility. But we're monitoring that, and then we'll be giving any kind of update on that as quickly as we have it. But for now, it is now known that a terrorist attack took place right inside the southwest of the country. It's not the first time, but again, it's now getting closer. And if you permit, I'm just going to quickly let us listen to what the late Lafayette Badia says. This particular area that we are talking about is not in a remote area, is not in the forest, is not in the bush, a very, very close into the urban city, which is what the late Dr. Malafi Obadia told us before he was killed some few months back. Let's listen to him.
Because some of us also have our own intelligence networks.
Okay.
Have met with some of the bandits. We have met with some of their high commanders. One or two who have repented. They have sat down with us, not once, not twice. They told us that one of the northern governors is the commander of Boko Haram in Nigeria. Boko Haram and the bandits are one and the same thing. They have a sophisticated network. During this lockdown, their planes were moving up and down as though there was no lockdown. Moving ammunitions, moving logistics, moving money, and distributing them in different parts of the country. They're already in the south, in the rainforest of the south. They're everywhere. They told us that when they finish these rural killings, they will move to phase 2. The phase 2 is they will go into the urban cities, going from house to house, killing prominent people. I can tell you, this is the game plan. By 2022, they want to start a civil war in Nigeria.
You heard him right there. By 2022, they want to start a civil war in Nigeria. What has been the reaction of the international community I've been monitoring that, especially because a magnitude of this kind of news sometimes do not filter out of the country. But it wasn't so. That shows you the magnitude. The New York Times have spoken. The AFP have picked it up 13 hours ago. Gunmen with explosive, which again was what was confirmed to me when I had a caller that spoke to me right from that very close axis. Says it was an explosive. He did mention that it was during the morning mass. Lot of children. We can't show this graphic image, but I can assure you that there were so many children that were killed with their head blown away. There was also indication that it was a Fulani attack. Gunmen with explosives stormed a Catholic church, opened fire in the southwest Nigeria, killing many worshippers, wounding others, and government and police. This is coming from the AFP. I've also picked it up, according to David Kohler, breaking over as many 100 to 200 churchgoers slaughtered during the morning church service at St. Francis Catholic Church in Ondo State, Nigeria. Expect limited coverage in the Western press, though the BBC were able to pick that as well. But like I said, the news traveled to almost every part. BBC World News says Nigerian violent gunmen attack. And also, there's been a response from the British High Commission in Nigeria and the rest of the part of the globe. New York Times, the attack at the St. Francis Catholic Church in Ondo State was the deadliest attack on a church in Nigeria in years and brought the kind of violence usually seen in countries not to a relatively peaceful area of the Africa most populous nation. Star Radio UK, your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. 24 minutes past, I come back again to you in the studio.
Well, listen, it's quite a very sad development in Nigeria. My question that I've asked myself is Buhari just giving up, just sitting there, saying, well, I'm just at the end of my tenure, so let me just get out of it. The insecurity that is going on, the impunity with which people are carrying out these barbaric acts. Now, what do you think? We want to have your take on that. You can post your comments on our Facebook page, and I promise you, we're going to read that. But one question that keeps on bothering me: to what? Like, how much more can Nigerians take when it comes to this? Well, when this was happening and everything that happened, well, some people had to still go on with their party that took place in the state capital, the federal capital. And you ask yourself the question: do our politicians actually think about us, the citizens? Well, let me hear from you. It is Starr Radio UK. Let's go to Olayemi Koiki for some of the other stories making the rounds. Over to you, Yomi.
Thank you so much, Mr. Archie. It seems it's going to be the show of the showest in the next maybe 48 hours or so, when the northern governors are now saying that they must now maybe allow the South to decide. They are from their own angle, who becomes the next president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. APC primary, Buhari met governors and also, party chairman and stakeholders. This is coming from the headline. Let's talk about that because we do know that the PDP have actually shifted theirs to the north by having Atiku. Does it mean that this APC will be bringing there to the southwest or the southeast? Or we will have to wait and see who is going to clinch that ticket. The president, Major General Muhammadu Buhari, retired on Sunday, met with some of the selected stakeholders in the All Progressive Congress, including the former chairman, the current national chairman, Abdullahi Adamu, the national secretary chairman, Iyola Omishori, and some other governors elected on the platform of the party. The meeting came in ability of the governors to produce a consensus candidate barely 24 hours to the party convention. A second meeting is expected to hold between all the 22 governors of the APC and the president today, Monday, while the convention is expected to begin today. The primary itself will not take place until Tuesday. So we're going to have to wait and see whether there will be what we can call a kind of consensus, from the APC regarding that. Let me go straight back into what more other stories are coming. There is response as well from the leader of the Yoruba Self-Determination, Professor Banji Akintoye, regarding what took place yesterday in Ondo State. And this is their own statement that actually came out as well yesterday there's a lot of response, there's still a lot of reaction, especially the Yorubas that are now bitterly asking the question, do we still want to be part of Nigeria? And should we want to be part of Nigeria? On what basis are we going to be part of a country that cannot protect and also give the security details to support almost every part of the country? So this is the response, from the Ilana Omo Odua and the leader himself, Alano, Professor Banji Akintoye. This is what he had to say. Just bear with me. I'm going to bring that up in just about few minutes. His response, Ondo Catholic attack is a declaration of war on the Yoruba people. Odua Nation, leader Professor Banji Akintoye. The group said the attack is a declaration of war on the Yoruba people, adding that it is time to gain independence from Nigeria. Professor Banji Akintoye, the leader of the apex body of the Yoruba self-determination and the self-preservation movement, Ilana Omo Odua worldwide, has also responded to what happened at Owo in Ondo State yesterday, condemned the Sunday attack on St. Francis Catholic Church. Akintoye, in a statement issued by Maxwell Adeleye, the secretary to the group, said the attack is a declaration of war on Yoruba people, adding that it is time to gain independence from Nigeria. And what does that mean? That they remember that there's still everything that needs to be done according to the movement to leave Nigeria and then have our own self-independent country. The historian called on the state governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu and other governors in the southwest region to declare an emergency against the activities of the Fulani herdsmen in the state. The statement read, "We have stated it very expressly that the Yoruba people need to negotiate their exit from Nigeria as a matter of urgency, but our partisan political actors in Yoruba land never took us seriously. We warned them that there was fire on the mountain. We were mocked because of their personal aggrandizement. Today, we have been enriched and cycled, most especially in Lagos, for the herdsmen, most especially."
Just bear with us. We have because we do the broadcast from home, so we have our little ones who are from time to time introduced. So
most especially in Lagos, for the herdsmen to have from trend of bombardment a church in Yoruba land to kill over 200 people shows that we are now in a realistic danger. My urgent advice to Governor Akeredolu is to pick up the gauntlet, declare an emergency against the activities of all the Fulani herdsmen in the state with immediate effect. We now have been taken for granted. We need not pretend anymore. We must demand a nominal and exit from Nigeria. We, the Yoruba people, cannot live in the same country with characters whose idea of common citizenship in Nigeria is to brutalize, subjugate, and even exterminate us. It is time to leave these characters now. All stakeholders, the elite, the traditional rulers, our women should act now. All Southwest, including Yoruba leaders in Kogi and Kwara State, should equally declare an emergency against the activities of the Fulani herdsmen. We must now take our destiny in our hand. That is the statement, and as you can see, a very, very powerful statement from the leader as well. I'm going to give 2 or 3 more headlines. Come back again to you in the studio. If you've just joined us, this is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London, Monday to Friday, where we give you all the headlines as well. Buhari agreed to support Tinubu for president. Buba Galadima. Remember, we spoke with him, I believe, a year ago, probably not a year last year, but a year ago, while he was in London for some event. A very, very, somebody that also against the government. But it seems that Buhari will be supporting Tinubu. We will know within the next 24 hours. 3 people have died as Lagos Ministry police hoodlums demolished 200 buildings. And likewise, the national carrier get license today. Local airline fourth process. 20 power plants suffer major problems blackout to worsen. Remember that without the power that Nigeria has been in the last 60 years of darkness, that means that nothing can work and nothing can function. A lot of people have asked the question, should a CCTV not have been installed in those premises? And maybe, just maybe, somebody would have been picked. Following the perennial power outage currently being experienced across the countries, findings have shown that 20 gas power plants are currently underperforming leading to power generation dropping below 2,000 megawatt. Nigeria has 23 power generating plants with 11,165 megawatt capacity connected to the national grid. These plants are managed by generation companies Gencos, independent power providers, Niger Delta Holding Company. Out of the 23, two hydro plants, according to independent investigation, that the gas plants are currently either generating below expectation, shut down due to lack of gas, or undergoing maintenance. You can imagine the little that we have, nothing seems to be going into it, and that makes it more that Nigerians will continue to suffer in darkness for a very long time. Star Radio UK, I'm slightly going to come back now to you in the studio so that we can look at some of those headlines. And we still have a bit of ample of time. As you know, the children are still on holiday. And like I said, bear with us, those of you that are listening to us. Should there be some kind of filter of news or other news below what we are saying here? It is just a little one that's at the background. I'll come back again to you in the studio.
Yes, listeners, Mr. Olaimi Koiki, interesting stories and developments from Nigeria. Now let's come to Professor Kintoye's statement that he made. Now, did he address it to the federal government? Because this is a situation where people are agitating, saying that we think we are being marginalized. We think like what is happening in the East as well. So looking at all that, and this attack that
keep quiet, keep quiet, yeah, keep quiet, keep quiet.
So they think that now it's about time for us to maybe move on or just break away from there. Now, has he addressed that particular statement to the federal government, or he's made a general statement and he's expecting them to react to that?
Well, we do know that the movement itself has always tell the federal government that the Yoruba people do not want to have anything to do with Nigeria as it is, not for any reason, but for some of what has even occurred, as well. Remember that, a country that has marginalized the indigenous people, we were forcibly put together, which we must continue to say, by the British government in 1914. The 1999 constitution is a fake constitution that was put together, as a military decree by those that just wanted to use that to their own advantage, and that has been used for a very long time since we went back into democracy in 1999. It was not just addressing the governors that are meant to take their responsibility on those within the Yoruba land. The message also was to international community about the reason why bear with us. I'm going to connect back in just about a few minutes. And you keep quiet because I'm going back on the radio now. Yeah, take. No, you're not going on the radio. The radio to go. Let's connect back. Go on the radio.
In arms from one point to the other, where he claims that look, all the intention of this particular group is just to make sure that they have or whatever bring about a civil war in Nigeria. But what do you think about all that? It is Starr Radio UK. Like I said earlier, we apologize for that breaking online mistransmission, but it is back on now. Okay, so let's move on now to the APC primaries. That is taking place, and the fact that Tinubu seems to be the favorite at the moment. I've seen few stories that are talking about the president meeting other candidates, telling some people to step down and stuff like that. So the other one, I think I did ask that question: where does Tinubu hail from? Does he hail from the north as well? And if he hails from the north, that particular stands by some of the northern governors who are saying that the presidency should be ceded to the south. What is going to happen to that? Yomi?
Well, Tinubu is from the southwest. He was a one-time governor, in Lagos State for 8 years. Quite a lot of followers. But the question that's being asked is he capable, to take the mantle as against those that would prefer, the vice president against him? If the vice president team and those that will probably want to support the vice president do not agree with this consensus, maybe to allow Tinubu, then that means they will all have to go into that, primaries convention, and then the delegate will decide and that could be very tricky. That means that whoever comes out then would end up being the favorite out of them. We just not have just that alone. Remember that we still have two or three people from the southeast. After the they've screened out of the 23, I think only 10 were able to to survive it, and the rest have been taken off from that party presentation to the to the delegate. Yes, Tinubu has been very bitter. I've listened to some of his comments in the last couple of days, especially his utterance in Ogun State, and he kept saying that it's my turn. I have made you, I've made you, I've made you, and you have all deserted me. Apart from the governor of Lagos State that is following him, according to him, like a puppet, and that means that he believed that the power needs to be given to this Yoruba people. He said Yoruba turn is what means that Yoruba no con is actually the turn of the Yoruba people to take the power. Yes, we can see that there's a pressure in the country, and the North can literally feel that. But let us remember that the North knows the game very well. And what is the game? Let's now allow the Southwest or the Southeast to decide, from their end, and maybe behind the scene, they might end up supporting Atiku that is from the North as against their real party candidate. All this is still something that a lot of analysts are looking at. But the question is, who is going to emerge as the candidate of the APC? And that's something that everybody will know very, very soon.
Interesting. Well, earlier when I saw a story, or I chanced on a story that was talking about the Vice President Osibanjo stepping down for Tinubu. So I was of the view that maybe there's been an agreement in the camp of Osibanjo. But it seems that that's not what you are saying.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
I was saying that earlier on, I chanced on a story talking about Osibanjo stepping down for Tinubu to run.
Well, yes, I mean, there's a lot of pressure from, I mean, like I said, from, even the traditional rulers that are backing them as well. And likewise, remember Tinubu, not all the governors, somebody like Amosun would not want to let go. Amosun is currently on the race. And I don't remember during the governorship election that took place, last election, Star Radio was there, and we were at Ogun State. And I saw all the drama where Amosun wanted somebody else. Akinri Ade, he wanted, Tinubu wanted Dapo Abiodun, that is current governor. And he did mention that Ele, this one, I put him there. And, that has become a cartoon and a lot of talk show with a lot of people. So if Amosun, as an example, is not going to back down, Amosun will probably prefer Osibajo as against Tinubu, and there's still going to be this loghead, and that's why they cannot agree to a consensus of who is actually going to lead, or who are they all going to step down to, rather than going into the primaries. What Buhari is trying to do is to make sure that they can have an agreement rather than going for the primaries, and then everybody can agree. But like I said, I'm not sure whether those from the southeast that have not had that opportunity will want to step down for the southwest as well. So the game continue, and they say, whatever it is, one person must come out. But the question is, will there be election in 2023 with everything that is still on the table? The self-determination, the Biafra are also saying that there will not be an election, even though the PDP have indicated that they will not give the party ticket to those in the southeast. Is APC going to maybe, just maybe, allow the party ticket to go to the southeast, and those of the tension of the Biafrans that also want out of Nigeria? All these we will see within the next couple of days.
Well, listen, Starr Radio UK. We're still having a chat on this presidential candidates that's been nominated from, or the primary that's taking place in the APC at the moment. We know that the PDP have selected Atiku Abubakar to be the presidential candidate. Now, as whether the APC are going to accept their nomination or approve that of Tinubu is another question. But some other stories coming through is talking about the Yoruba Muslim scholars in Nigeria has commended the resolution of all Progressive Congress northern governors to support zoning the presidency to the south, demanding that a Muslim candidate should emerge from the party's primary. Now, other religions or religious sects will be thinking that, what is the plan there? Yomi.
Well, you're quite right. Tinubu, if you remember, is a Muslim. Atiku is a Muslim. Should Tinubu get the ticket, that means we're going to be having, two, president candidates that are Muslim ticket.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they've tried to avoid these. Uh, Osibajo is a Christian. Could that favor him as against a Muslim ticket where the APC will have a Christian? Some of the Southeast candidates are also Christians. And the question is, yes, the Northerners have said we will allow the ticket to go to the South. That means both the Southeast or the Southwest. But who actually grabs the ticket is the big question. Yes, some Muslims might be in favor of having Tinubu as not looking at the consequence of whether the two-party ticket will be from a Muslim ticket both sides. But the question is again, whether there will be such that would occur. All these will become more clear within the next 48 hours.
You know why I did ask that question? Is because are they scared that if the South, okay, if they have a presidential candidate, let's say the APC appoint somebody who is not a Muslim, okay, but from the South, then he is going to get the South to attack what is going on in the North, because it looks like that seems to be what they think, that the Fulani herdsmen and blah 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 who are associated with the Islam are the ones doing the attacks. So maybe if we don't get somebody who is of that same faith, then there's a tendency that anyone who comes in there can, because of his support from the South, can attack them. Is that why they are doing that?
Well, not literally that. It's just that the way the politics in Nigeria has been played for a very long time. Lives of millions of people have been played like a playing card, and that means you can't trust these politicians. If they're meant to be a due diligent in the first place, the ticket should be going to the Southeast, and there shouldn't be any reason for a debate of such. But you can tell that the PDP are not interested in that. Atiku has been contesting, as far back as during the late Chief MK Abiola, and he has never given up. And the question a lot of people have asked is, whether he's even capable himself, looking at some of his record during the Obasanjo, as a vice president as well. Again, looking at the record of the candidate that we have under the APC as well, will they be able to unite Nigeria at this stage is a question. I think again, I go back again. The Northerners are trying to calm the situation. They know that the Yorubas are no longer joking, and they're about to exit out of Nigeria, whatever the situation is, and they can feel it. So they are now looking at, should we just give the pressure to reduce a little bit and allow somebody from the Yoruba side to do it, as against those in the Southeast. They know that the Yorubas holding things together does not mean that those from the Biafrans that also wants to go are not as heavy as it is. But from the perspective of looking at the whole scenario, who is going to be the consensus candidate? They have to be careful, because that also could be maybe the end of the party should they bring in the wrong person out.
Listeners, it is Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London, 11:46 from the House of London. And it is the Monday edition of the morning show. Updates from Nigeria. Now you go back to Yomi for some of the other stories going on in Nigeria. Over to you, Yomi.
Well, we're just gonna go straight to the social media that has been fill up with two names. Two trending. We've seen the Ondo State was trending up to yesterday. It has literally dropped down, but Nigeria is trending, and you could tell the reason why Nigeria is trending is already trending across the globe with all the atrocity that has occurred in Nigeria, but most especially the one at Owo, where terrorists attacked by the Fulani invaded a church, bomb explosion, a lot of AK-47, and a lot of people have died, almost 200 people. Fulani is trending at number 2. So let's look at why Fulani is trending, because in the last couple of days, we had 16 countries, 16 groups of people that arrived in Abuja from the Fulani angle to come and have a kind of what we can call a meeting. But let's look at what David Odoye have said. For those who still fundamentally misunderstand the current event, it is not as simple as Fulani expansionists expanding. No, these are actual terror attack by groups linked to ISIS, Ansaru, Boko Haram. The individuals or may not be Fulani, but that is beside the point. We do know that these are very, young Nigerian, and investigative journalists as well. They are full-fledged terror cells embedded across the southern Nigeria, awaiting activation. And it's quite right, because when I listen to the father that was released recently as well, he said that they are waiting for signal. What sort of signal are they waiting for? We do not know. And he says, I am not spreading fear. I am stating what anyone close to any half-decent state or commercial intelligent analyst already knows. The terrorists are here. It is no longer in Sambisa Forest anymore. They are now among us, and they are waiting for activation. What kind of activation? We would all have to wait and see. So let's go back to see, some of the other trending story. Nigeria is at number one this morning with almost huge amount of tweet on Nigeria that is currently trending on the Twitter this morning. Again, we've talked about the reaction from the international media. Let's look at what Ifa Funshaw at Funshaw Graphics have to say. The same people who insulted Chief Sunday Igboho and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, despite their struggle on Yoruba Nation and Biafra Nation, are now regretting. I don't know why our people will see reality and still follow illusion. Getting your PVC will not solve anything. Ending Nigeria is the only solution. Even those that have disagreed with the Yoruba out of Nigeria are probably now also reviewing whether they want to be part of Nigeria. Also, let me look at what Neferati says. Emefiele quickly ban crypto and block bank account of #EndSARS protesters. Lai Mohammed promised to publish the names of the terror financier since 1970. Federal Let's take a look at what Ifa Funshaw at Funshaw Graphics have to say 1 hour ago. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is in prison with no tangible charges against him. Chief Sunday Igboho was arrested with no tangible charges against him, but terrorists are operating freely in every part of Nigeria. I hope it won't get to your own family before you start using your brain. Also, Chlorophane #EndSARS at Victoria Israel says that Ondo killing is painful to watch. You go to school, ASU is on strike. You go to farm, the herdsman is there. You go to church, the gunman is there. You travel by road, the kidnappers. And just by that, yesterday as well, there were also numbers of people that were kidnapped from axis of Ilorin, which is again southwest of Nigeria, where we do not know where they are at the moment. Prior to that, there was about 8 buses that were also burnt to death on Kaduna Abuja highway, and multiple people have been moved to the forest, and negotiation continue. You travel by train, there's terrorist attack. You look for job, there's no job. You are hungry, food is expensive. Nigeria has enough supply of evil. And that's where I'm going to end the social media this morning and come back now to you in the studio.
Well, listeners, very, very, if I don't say I am worried, the last statement that somebody put across, I mean, that means there is no security anywhere, and you turn left, you turn right, there is no hope. But do you think Nigeria should survive? Do you think Nigeria should just be together as it is when the leadership are not sitting to address the issues that are going on? Well, you want to know more about whatever is going on, then you have to make sure that every weekday from 11 o'clock, Mr. Lai will be joining in to bring you all those updates from Nigeria. But let me come back to Yomi before we go. Over to you, Yomi.
Well, don't touch the dial. Make sure you stay tuned, with Starr Radio UK. It is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. And this is the only platform where you can follow all the latest news without being diluted. And we continue to pray for all those that are currently going through, the situation that occurred in Nigeria. Yesterday, we pray for the family of those that have been killed. And we continue to say to those at home, make sure that you remain very vigilant because we don't know from information still getting to us as of this morning that they will be moving to Akure, another part of Ondo State, and they might be coming down to other states as well. Let us all remain very, very vigilant at this particular junction. And that is where I'm going to leave it this morning. And I'll be back again same time tomorrow at exactly 11 o'clock. But for now, make sure you continue listening to Star Radio UK. Have a very good morning.
Thank you very much, Mr. Olaimi Koiki. You have a very good morning as well. We'll catch up later. Listeners, that was Yomi in our North London studios, bringing you updates from Nigeria. It is Star Radio UK. We'll catch up later. Listeners, that was Yomi.
All right, I'm going to have to go now. But later, there's a lot. I've not been out since morning. I'm sure you all understand the reason why there's so much happening behind the scene. Let's continue to tell our people to remain vigilant. And that's all I can say for now. I haven't got the strength to say much. I've been as bitter as so many of you as well. I've been as upset as so many of us as well, especially knowing that I have children and looking at those young children, innocent children that has no reason for them to have been caught up in what has actually happened. But we can sort these things out if we all continue to say to the world that we are now in danger. You can disagree that there's not going to be war. I pray all the time that it will be, but at the back of my mind, I know that we are already at war. Have a very good morning, and that's all I can say for now. Bye for now.